All right. Let's see. We have another caller from Ohio. This will be Red.
Mm-hmm.
She, they pronouns. How are you doing, Red?
I'm doing fine, just a bit confused.
We all
Hopefully we can help, but yeah, I think we all are.
Yeah. What you got?
So mostly my confusion is on how I'm wording this question, because I don't know if I'm wording it right. I do want to start off by saying I do feel pretty comfortable as what I identify as. I'm just having trouble figuring out how I should describe that, what I am to other people, because I feel like it's this really niche thing that if I tell people, they're going to like, you're a what?
Sure.
So
How would you describe it?
I identify. So currently, I identify as a bi demisexual demi-girl.
Mm-hmm.
A friend was helping me figure out what I identified as when I was discovering my gender and my sexuality and stuff. The demi part was where I come to the conclusion about that is I've never felt any attraction to any sort of other human being. Like, people would say, oh, look, that person, they're so hot or they're sexy. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't feel that way. And they said, oh, maybe it's not your type, but I never had a type. And literally when people ask me what my type is, it's my boyfriend. And it's not just people that look like my boyfriend. It's just him, because I only feel attraction towards him. So I kind of have that ace, I guess that's what it's called. So you kind of see how I'm confused about telling people what I am and how to express that to people.
It doesn't sound like you're ace. Well, asexual, just they don't feel like sexual attraction to anyone.
Okay.
Right. So that was maybe the demi-sexual part of it, because you feel like you are attracted to some people, or maybe people once you get to know them
Yeah,
a
you're
fair
attracted to
bit.
personality.
Yeah. Which is then I suppose for the audience a important distinction from demi-girl, because if demisexual is I am, and let's go ahead and I guess chalk up three more here.
Yeah.
But a demi-girl would usually be somebody who identifies as a woman or as a demi-girl, but who also identifies as being agender, or perhaps somewhere in the middle of that part of the spectrum. Does that line up with how you mean to represent yourself, Red?
Yes, I don't. The way I kind of see it is that I'm okay with being called a she. I'm fine with my current assigned gender at birth, but I don't fully see myself as a girl, but I don't also fully see myself as a man. So I kind of just like the demi-girl seems like the most sense to me to place myself at, because I don't fully identify as either.
Yeah, and I mean that sounds right.
I see. I think I get. Yeah.
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 Kara,
It sounds like maybe is part of the thing that you're wondering about is like, to what extent do you need to unpack that for people when you're describing it to them? Like,
because I know if I go to my grandmother with it, she'd be like, "What?"
Well, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so that's why you tell grandma bisexual and you tell your queer friends that, you're a cat girl, blah, blah, blah. Like you get into the pansexual nuance and all of those kinds of things. That's super valid, right? Like you're allowed to code switch in that way and to describe yourself in a way that people understand you. You're not being deceptive or manipulative when you shorthand yourself, because the goal is not to give everybody like your genetic code. Like you don't have to walk up to people and offer a blood sample when you describe yourself. Your goal is to be understood by your fellow man, and you can accomplish that in whatever way is best to accomplish that.
Yeah, I love how you
Yeah,
said that, Christy. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Red.
Oh no, I was just saying that. Yeah, that kind of helps me understand it. It's just that when I talk to people, I feel like I have to overgive information. It's more like I have ADHD, so I feel the need to fill in as much information as possible so people don't be misinformed about me or whatnot. It's just this weird thought process that I have with people. I'm very socially awkward.
Well, and we can normalize that a little bit, Red. I don't mean to tell you about yourself, but it's a really, really common trauma response for people who exist as neurodivergent in our very neurotypical world to feel constantly misunderstood and then to perhaps overcompensate by feeling the need to give all of this nuance and all of this detail. And that's okay, right? Like, it may not always be in your best interest. It may be an instinct to curb or to be aware of, but it's also deeply human and very understandable and very valid. So I hope that you wouldn't go around feeling like, oh, there's something wrong with me. I'm this broken person. Why am I such a weird gender that I have to do all of this talking about? And then I don't know how to. I don't mean to imply that that's what your inner critic is saying or that that's how you talk to yourself, but only to say if you did, you certainly wouldn't be alone. And I would hope that you would give yourself permission to just be you and to be the best you that you can without feeling like you need to beat yourself up over who you're not.
Yeah, I can definitely say you kind of hit on the nail on the head there. It's definitely what I resonate with was beating myself up. Thankfully, I've been going to therapy and been helping myself as far as that, and it's been going along great so far. I just come from a conservative family where they didn't believe in like mental health issues. They're also very bigoted, so I wasn't allowed to express myself the way I was. So I do carry a lot of trauma with that, but I'm trying to get better, and that's partially why I wanted to call and try to see if I can understand myself better, if I bounce off my idea of what I think I am to other people and see if they can help me describe it in a way.
Yeah, I felt like I fully understood, yeah.
Yeah, I understood exactly what you meant too, and or I feel like I understood. I don't know for sure. That's the problem with communication. We're never 100% sure. But I think also it kind of depends on your audience, right? Like there's people that you probably feel a lot safer being vulnerable with and describing yourself in detail and bouncing that back and forth, and then there may be other people where that's not going to be as safe or as comfortable as of a conversation, and that's okay if you don't have that conversation in quite as much detail with your grandma or the barista or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, it makes sense to sort of just find a term that's easy for you to use when you find yourself in those situations, like just saying
queer. It's the most beautiful word in the world. It gets you out of so many uncomfortable conversations.
And it's also like, I feel like because queer addresses gender and sexuality and relationship models and stuff, in my opinion. So I think it can be really easy to just sort of say that and then like move on with your day, and then if you're talking to other queer people, then you can say, well, I'm demisexual and I'm a demi girl, and you can go on as much as you want because other queer people are definitely going to like understand that. But it's awesome that you're narrowing that down and exploring those concepts. And yeah, thank you so much for calling in, Red.
Thank you so much for helping me out with this. This has really helped me open my head to a lot of different ways of thinking for this.
Hey, glad to hear it.
We love that. That's what it's all about.